We could promote to the Premier League today. Let's go do it. All right, today's episode, we've got the second half of Season 5. As we start today's episode, we do have an injury that is a big one. However, it is almost over with. Marcus Nelson can play in 2 days. Now, I know it's not typically ideal to bring someone back right when they get back from an injury. You want to give them time to get their sharpness up from above 0, which is where Marcus is right now. But we won't be without Marcus Nelson for long is really the point I'm trying to make here. Let's do our spin of the wheel here. We just got an offer for one of our defenders, and if we don't get defense +1 loan, we might have to say yes to it, and we just miss it. Instead, we have to transfer one of our defensive players. This is tough. Being forced to transfer one of our defenders instead might also play a role in how willing I am to sell off of Fraser right now. He's only a 62, but immediately it's not going to be Jermaine Ratcliffe. He's our captain. It's not happening. And it's not going to be Wagana. I like Wagana, and he's still got a ton of upside. So it's got to be one of our starters, though. So it has to be Yunus Saman, who's been here since the start, or Diarra, who's been here since the start. One thing we could do is we could recall Jack Stewart from loan. That would open up a loan spot on the defensive side of things. Wait, why do we have 2 guys out on loan? Did we roll +1 defender loan last time? Hard to remember. I felt like didn't we roll goalkeeper transfer? I don't know which one we rolled. But I'm going to assume that I'm not making a mistake here and that I can have both Stewart and Ferre loaned out here. In which case I have 2 defensive loan slots. We can put Diarra on the transfer list, recall Jack Stewart, and then loan out Fraser for the time being, just in hopes that he won't lose his potential. Because we are not in the summer transfer window, this won't actually boost his overall, but hopefully it'll keep his potential. That's really the goal here. And so we're going to add Diarra to the transfer list. We're going to recall Jack Stewart. It's going to cost us some money, but he is going to be our right back now, replacing Diarra. We'll only drop 2 overall, and we'll get somebody with a little bit more potential than Diarra has. Additionally, that puts the Stewart brothers, or the Stewart cousins, however you want to say it. What should we say? They don't look super alike, but they also don't look very far apart. Their hair is different, but their faces themselves, you could call these guys brothers. In fact, canonically, Stewart and Stewart are both brothers. So now we have brothers playing on the pitch for us at the same time, and hopefully for the foreseeable future. That means we will now reject Russell Fraser. Thanks for this offer, because it reminded me that I needed to spin the wheel to see if I wanted to accept it. Seems like Diarra is not too unhappy with the decision to move on. He hasn't really been enjoying playing here. Well, that's news to me. You've been very happy. But so long, I guess, buddy. We got an offer from Diarra, and we pretty much have to accept the first one that we get, unless it's one of our best players, and I'll try to keep him in England. So looks like it'll be about $8.5 million, unless we get another offer that Diarra likes more. I don't know if you accept multiple offers, what happens. For example, the second that we recalled Jack Stewart, I got 3 offers. If I accepted all of them, I don't know where he would have gone. But obviously, I ended up just blocking offers for Jack Stewart. He's our right back of the future for now. We've got a pretty talented Southampton team on the docket today, and it will be Marcus Nelson's first match back post-injury. Now, his sharpness is still pretty low, so I'm not sure if he'll last the whole match, but with Nelson back and us playing one of the best teams in the league, let's get our first gameplay underway. I think one thing I need to maybe get better at, maybe start doing, is having like maybe one bench guy, one substitute start for us every game, I think that might help our substitute unit just have better morale. I don't know how often it is. Those of you more educated in the comments can let me know that like you actually start your top 11, but that might be something I start to do. Just pick one spot and have one of the substitutes play for it. And in this day, it's going to be Fraser playing over Yunus Aman. All right, facing off against one of our biggest rivals for the championship league crown this year, and already Jack Stewart. There's his first tackle with Warrington FC. Member of the Stewart brothers. So far, it's been mostly Southampton on the attack in the first 15 minutes or so into the box, but Ratcliffe with the tackle shuts that one down. Southampton with it again. This time, Stewart saw the pass coming and anticipated it. Joe White almost drew himself a yellow card, but will have it into the feet of Nelson. Welcome back, and he'll get the assist. Edward Johansson scores the goal in the 22nd minute. First real attack that we got in this match, and it was a great one. You get space in front of Johansson, and he's going to make things happen. Here's Jack Stewart up ahead to Joe White. White running it on the right wing. Cross inside to Matthew Stewart. Header is saved. Fellows with it for Southampton. Into the middle, John Patrick with the pass into the box. But good defense there on that attack. Through ball to Joe White now on the other side. White turning around, just gets his shut down. Couldn't really find anyone to pass to. That is a bad decision by Southampton. Leads to Joe White taking the shot and scoring the goal. Joe White. Some excellent curvature on that shot to make it 2-0 here in the first half. I mean, just a total blunder from that Southampton guy, giving it right to Ramos. And then Joe White, what a beautiful shot to extend the lead. Halftime approaching now. Gabriel Ramos to Clark, up to Marcus Nelson. Nelson lofts it for Johansson, and that wasn't terribly far off on that shot attempt. Robinson lofting one ahead now for Southampton. Final attack of the first half has maybe some promise here. Passing is good, but Joe Mwagana shuts it down with the tackle right before what would have been a pretty dangerous shot. But nice defense, and we'll take the 2-0 lead into the break. Taking a look at the first half stats, not a lot of shots in the first half overall. Just 4 for us, only 1 for Southampton. So, into the second. This is usually where we get our shot numbers up. Marcus Nelson dancing. Nelson dancing some more. Continues to go inside. That Johansson shot is blocked. And it looks like, was there an offside call on that one? I don't know how that would have been offside, but maybe it was. Just past the 60-minute mark, and that chance for Southampton won't go anywhere. Robinson has some space. Can they finally get themselves another shot on goal here? John Patrick inside Robinson, and that one is erased by Fraser. Ratcliffe to Johansson. The right-footed shot is just wide. Past the 85-minute mark now. Matthew Stewart searching. He'll find Gabriel Ramos. Nelson spinning. Passing to Joe White. He's got himself a second goal. Assist once more to Marcus Nelson. His second. in his return to Warrington football. Turns out having low sharpness didn't really affect his energy. Probably just how well he's played, although he has a 2-assist game in his return. So didn't need to sub him out. And I'm glad we didn't. That was a beautiful assist. Final moments now. Could be the last attack for either side. Matthew Stewart with some space. He'll lay it ahead. Joe White going for the hat trick, and he got it. Joe White in the 90th minute gets 2 in the final 5 to create the hat trick. Joe White, more often than not, been more of a playmaker for us, but in Marcus Nelson's absence, he had to step up his goal scoring, and we're seeing the fruits of that in this match. 3 shots is all he needed. Very efficient scoring on each of his attempts here. And nobody... I mean, there was only one person on the entire squad that had below a 7, and it was Matthew Stewart with a 6.9, and he had an assist. I thought he played decent. I don't know why he had a 6.9, if I'm being honest with you. Our scouting mission for today's episode is in the United States. Wanted to go back to Coach McKnight's home country, which, of course, also happens to be mine. We've got one potential player here in Sam Edwards, although 5'6" for center back doesn't look super promising. He's the only one with the max 94 potential, but the other indicators aren't super promising on this one. Not many play styles. Kind of short. I think I'll say no to Sam Edwards. Ludwig requested a transfer due to lack of playing time, and so we are going to grant it. He is going to the United States, to the state of Utah, in fact, Real Salt Lake. I have been to a couple of Real Salt Lake games in my time. Looks like we may have found a stud here in our newest USA updates, Peter Miller. He can play cam and CDM. He has the potential to be special. 2 to 5 play styles. I'm really hoping it comes up on the higher end of that range. Kelly looks intriguing enough to sign, although he doesn't look amazing. Ben Roberts has a high overall, but doesn't really have any play styles. So I think we'll say no there. And to the rest of the players from this report. Miller ends up with 3 play styles, and they're all shooting play styles. So he could be a good goal scoring cam for us. That puts a little bit of pressure on Stewart to start to get some potential boosts, because if he is maxed out right now in the low 80s, Peter Miller has a much higher ceiling and could be a replacement down the line. Now we've got ourselves a match against Sheffield United, another team towards the top of the standings with us here. Got an early attack brewing. Joe White crosses to Clark. That's a good pass. Maybe a better one here, and it's Wagana with the goal. Playing in that wing back role. Aids in this attack and gets... first off, the first pass from Joe White to Clark was a beautiful cross. And then Jason Clark, just lays it right up perfectly for Wagana to go for the shot, and he did not disappoint in his attempt. Early goal. Oh, Cameron McKnight up on the upper left, 150 career wins. Wish I would have known that. Maybe we would have watched the previous game to see number 150. That is a good attack for Sheffield United. And they've tied us up at 1 goal apiece. Chong. That attack kind of came out of nowhere. Happened so quick. Didn't realize how much danger we were in, but great find through the defense there. Yunusa Man was not really guarding anybody on that one. Sheffield United up on the attack again. Ratcliffe able to shut down that pass, and now we go on the counterattack. Joe White He's gotten a lot faster over the last couple of years. We've been trending it up. Ball gets back to White. Matthew Stewart to Nelson. Well, that one is saved. On the attack again. Joe White with it. Lays it to Gabriel. Gabriel. Running out of space, so we'll pass it back to White. Clark. He'll take the outside the box shot. Off the deflection. It is a goal! Marcus Nelson was offside. Not a bad attempt here from Clark. Can't really blame him for being offside. He wasn't expecting to get a pass. In fact, he didn't get a pass. But unfortunate there. Will remain tied 1 apiece. Chong with another great chance in the 26th minutes. But this one he just missed out on. We could have been down. Nelson. A little bit of a through ball to himself. Lays it off for Gabriel Ramos. What a save. That almost felt like it was too unselfish from Marcus Nelson. I think I'd just rather have him take the shot there, as he is the best shooter on the team. Cross comes in, and Hassan. Too wide on the header. Another cross. This one claimed easily by Oliver Kuhn. This kick is right to Joe White. Beautiful. From Oliver Kuhn leads to the counterattack. Final attack of the first half. Cross in for Johansson. Is cleared away momentarily, and then there, that header will take it out of danger and take us to the halftime break. 7 shots to 3 here. And 50-50 possession. It's been a very fun first half, and I will say, there's one thing different about this Sheffield United game than every other game that I've played so far in this series. I'm playing on world-class difficulty on this one, and I really liked what I saw out of the first half. Decided after I played the youth tournament to try world-class difficulty instead of legendary. So far, the reviews are positive. We've got another attack going up the right wing. White is tackled. But Sheffield in a bit of trouble here. That is deflected by Nelson. We got a chance there from Stewart, but he missed. We're to the hour mark here in this match. Campbell back for Chong. This one is wide. He's had a few really solid looks in this match. You can see all the substitutions we made at this point just after the 60-minute mark. Trying to get some fresh legs and retake the lead here. Sheffield United on another attack here. That is intercepted by Stewart. Warrington now going the other way. We got a new cam in. It's Dennis King. He plays it ahead. Joe White. White has Nelson. He'll take it himself, though. And it's saved. On that one, I maybe would have preferred the pass. Campbell with it. He'll swing it out to the left wing. Back towards the middle, into the box. Felix to Campbell. Saved by Kuhn and cleared by Wagana. That one was dangerous. Hassan with it now. Off the throw-in. Gets to the center of the field, looking for a pass. Chong! Another narrow miss. Sheffield likes to play off this left wing. Chong to Campbell. Campbell. Up to Hassan, and that one was close. Man, Sheffield United has had a ton of attacks here in the second half. What a touch there from Joe White off the throw-in. Gets himself into the box. Joe White searching. He'll find Harada. King went for the shot. It got blocked. Johansson had a shot, and he missed it. Opportunity to take the lead in the final few minutes here. Well played by Jason Clark to win us back possession. Nelson to King. Up to Nelson. Great pass from Dennis King. And Nelson gets the goal. The go-ahead score in the 88th minute. What a play. The pass from King was beautiful. as was the shot from Marcus Nelson. Clark also did good work on this play, and, I mean, off the opposite post. Great accuracy. Oh, it's off the hand of the keeper, too. Nelson. Beautiful goal. Happy to have him back. So, we get 4 extra minutes in this one. That gives Sheffield United another chance to get a point out of this one. Not a terrible look there from Felix, but it won't result in anything. If we can just dribble out these last 30 seconds, we should come away with a win. Harada loses it, but we'd already wasted enough time that this one is done. They will not allow Sheffield to go for one final attack. 2-1 is the final here. And I gotta say, that was one of the most entertaining matches, if not the most entertaining, of this series. World-class difficulty, I would recommend, with the sliders that I showed back in, what was it, episode 10, I believe. Haven't changed any of those yet, but what a fun game. We scored in the 3rd and 88th minute. Left a lot of time there in the middle with no goals, but that's because Sheffield was doing a good job creating attacks. They ended up with 11 shots. 26 in total in this game. And usually if we get 26 shots in a match, it's because we got 20 plus of them. A little bit more balanced here in this. I don't know how much of that to attribute to world-class difficulty, but I'm going to try it going forward. As of this moment, there are 10 matches remaining on the season for Warrington FC. And with 10 to go, we have a 2-point lead over the rest of the EFL Championship League. So Southampton is very close. Team that we played and beat today. Wolves in striking distance. Burnley in striking distance. Ipswich, I think, was number 1 in January. They've really fallen off. But there are probably 4 teams that feel like they have a chance at winning the league and at least getting that automatic promotion spot. We currently hold the lead, but it is no given. Let's get into a match against Middlesbrough here and see if we can't keep our good stretch of this episode going. We've been winning a lot of games, putting ourselves in a great spot to potentially win the league title. And this one starts off with a bang. Marcus Nelson with the turnaround. Put a ton of power behind that shot. Some of these football skills, man. I mean, how do you get so much power on that shot when you're turning around? Football, man. Beautiful, beautiful game. I don't call it that for nothing. Past the 13-minute mark, this will also probably be our final episode with these kids, saying goodbye to these white ones. Had to make sure that we repped them a couple times. These white ones are my favorites here of this second era of kits that we've run is Edward Johansson. I mean, look at just how fast he is. If you have Edward Johansson with green grass in front of him, I'm not sure there's anything scarier that we can do as Warrington FC than give the defense that. So fast, so skilled. We take an early 2-0 lead. But I don't think I'm as attached to this Adidas kit as I was to our Puma one, where we'll ultimately use it for one less season. Just 2 years with this one. And I didn't love the yellow ones in play as much as I thought I would, especially when the shirt is tucked in and you see the full shorts. Didn't love it, so I won't be too sad to move off of these kits for next episode. I'll be very excited to try and find some new ones that I'll like even more. That one is just missed. Here in the 25th minute. Middlesbrough here trying to get on the board. They've got another attack here. Hansen with it into the box. Tries to lay it forward. Ends up doing it on the second try. And Kuhn dives to save it away. Stewart. Great intercept. Passes it up to his brother, who almost got the assist from Nelson. And Joe White, off the deflection, can't score it. Into extra time here before the halftime break. One final attempt for Middlesbrough to get on the board. And Yunus Saman. Good defending there will send us to the half. 2-0. Pretty favorable first half for Warrington. Got a couple of goals early. That's where most of the action has been for this game. We got 9 shots in total off in the first half. Middlesbrough on the attack here. This is a very dangerous one, and Middlesbrough is on the board now. A great two-man game between a couple of players whose names I don't know if I can pronounce correctly, but passing it back to advance the attack. He gets it right back. Larubia is, I believe, this guy's name. Beautiful strike. Stewart to Nelson. Nelson passes it ahead to Gabriel Ramos. That was quite the pass. Gotta love this camera angle we're getting here after the miss. Lind with it. Passes it towards the middle. Gets by Jermaine Ratcliffe, and the shot is wide. That could have been the equalizer here. Nelson ahead to Edward Johansson. Johansson into the middle for Dennis King. Ramos with another shot, and it is saved away. Ramos with 2 excellent chances in the second half. Hasn't been able to convert yet. Dennis King, he'll step forward and take the power shot. Just wide. Dennis King with it once more. He'll loft it out to the left wing. Now we got Jesse Miller checking into the game to play in place of Edward Johansson for the remainder. Nelson to Joe White. Right back to Marcus Nelson. Score! We get a little beautiful two-man game of our own. Nelson to White, right back into space. And if you give Nelson a straightaway shot, he's not going to miss many of them. Right after that goal, we win possession back quickly. Not a great look for Middlesbrough here. Great pass by King up to Nelson. That one was a little bit more contested. But I'm liking what I'm seeing, despite the fact that he's a pretty low overall. Dennis King looks pretty solid to me as the backup cam. Not saying that I think he should replace Matthew Stewart or anything. I also really like Matthew Stewart, but he's better than I would expect a 64 overall to be. The great save by Ole Raccoon on that one. Off some nice Middlesbrough passing inside the box. To get it into the box again, and Kuhn was prepared with another save. Cleared away by Wagana. So, when it's all said and done, 3-1 will be your final here. Warrington over Middlesbrough. And we were the better team, I think, in this matchup, but this Middlesbrough team did not quit. They had some really solid second half attacks going. Marcus Nelson got 10 shots in this one, converted 2 of them. And this team continues to roll as this season begins to come closer to its end. We ended up getting off 20 shots in total to 10. Marcus Nelson, your player of the game, an 8.8 rating with 2 goals and an assist in this one. Yeah, that's pretty good stuff from our superstar striker. Here we go. Final match of the season. Guess who it is? Warrington versus Burnley. And we only have 1 point on Burnley. Now, they also have played one fewer match than us. They've played 44. We've played 45. So I think we need to actually win. I don't think the draw guarantees us anything, because if Burnley then wins their final match, we would fall to second and not win. Either way, we're guaranteed promotion because Southampton's at 90 and they've played the same amount as us. And our goal differential is way better for the tiebreaker. So there's no potential for us not to be promoted to the Premier League this season, but there is potential for us to not win the league. And one of my goals was to win every single league. So we've got to beat Burnley here in the final match of Season 5. First plays on the line in the final match of the season. You don't get better than this. And a great play from Jermaine Ratcliffe. I know I said earlier in the episode I don't love the yellow kits, but let's bring them out one more time. Maybe I can change my mind, because I did at one point like them enough to choose them. And for the most part, I do think they look pretty good. But look at Ramos with his tucked-in shirt. That's the look I don't love. Wagana, though. Great early attempt, and off the deflection, he scored it. Wagana, another goal in the episode. And another one in the first 10 minutes of the match. I don't know how he scored this one. That was a pretty acrobatic finish from Wagana. First strike is saved. It gets back to him. He's got his whole back turned to the goal, just flips it in. Beautiful. So we get our early lead here. When we get an early lead, we're usually pretty good at keeping it. Joe White searching, finds Clark. Clark up to Marcus Nelson. That's saved. Still 1-0 early here. Now Burnley on the attack. We just passed the 15-minute mark. Ratcliffe wins back possession, and now we're on the counter-attack. Nelson with it. Passing ahead. Edward Johansson with speed. Johansson scores! Edward Johansson. Another goal here in today's episode. He continues to impress me. Now, we'll take a look at his sim stats. I don't know if he's quite as prolific of a sim player as he is when we watch, but when we watch, Edward Johansson, man, continues to be a player I really like. We have a very tough decision on our hands next year with 3 wingers who I all very much want to play. Burnley into the box. Hannibal misses wide. But the first real threatening attempts here for Burnley in this one. Past the 30-minute marker now. Up the right wing. Pass inside is intercepted by Ratcliffe, and then Jason Clark gets us possession. On the counterattack once more. Marcus Nelson. Up ahead. Johansson. Johansson, he'll just take the shot. I think that one was deflected. But Joe White gets possession back. Gabriel Ramos inside to Johansson. Johansson misses on that one. Still need to work on his finishing. But wow, what a pass. Marcus Nelson to Joe White. And the diving save is made. Could have been 3-0 here in the first half. Maybe still could be. Stewart to Ramos. Ramos, oh, fancy. Nelson adding to the fanciness. You gotta finish, and we do. Off of the Nelson miss. Stewart, diving header, scores the goal. 3-0 in the first half. I mean, this team is playing beautiful football here with the league title on the line. You can't ask for it to be any better than this. Burnley has one final chance in the first half. Into the box, but Saman plays good defense, and then Wagana ends up clearing it away. 3-0 in the first half. Burnley only got that one shot off in the entirety of the half. We're looking pretty dang good. As we head into the second now, we'll see if Burnley decides to make this a close game. One thing, I'm recording this part after I record the end of season stats and stuff, and we see everybody's ending overall. One thing I've thought of since that I wanted to quickly bring up here in this second half. We might change formations next year. I'm not 100% committed to it. I like the 4-2-1-3 that we've had going, but if we don't change our formation, we're going to have to move off of one of Joe White, Edward Johansson, or Patrick Higgins. And Patrick Higgins is got just a massive boost on the loans, and he was already good prior to that. I've loved what I've seen from Johansson. I think he actually has the highest ceiling maybe on this entire team. And then, obviously, Joe White has been a fan favorite and a favorite of mine. What a goal from Marcus Nelson. Loads up for the power shots on the counterattack. Ooh, I love this angle. That's a future thumbnail if I ever seen one. Ooh, that one has some heat on it. Just inside on that lower right corner. So y'all can let me know what you think, because I think Johansson can play right mid. He's not just a winger. And Joe White can play center mid. So something to think about. I won't mention it later when we're going through everybody's end of season stuff, but I thought of it after recording this episode. And if you have any thoughts on it, please let me know here as we go over the end of game stats. And here it is, the parade for winning the league. Third time in 4 seasons we've had this parade. There's one more league we need to win. Oh, I guess 2, Champions League as well. Still need to get a ticket to the Champions League, but 3rd league win of the series. We continue to go up and up and up. And the boys are excited. So are the fans. Great way to end season 5. It being that close was quite fun. There wasn't a ton of drama in that final game, sure, but there was something on the line during it, which we haven't really seen. I guess last year we made the playoff too, but I didn't understand what was going on. Here are the 5 players being put on international duty here at the end of the year. I don't think anybody's new here. I think all 5 of these guys have been called before at least once. Maybe there's one that this is their first time, but I think this is the most we've ever had in a single stint, having 5 guys out playing for their country. Time for the end of season stats, as well as the overall updates for everybody. Willie Raccoon, 14 clean sheets on the year in 54 appearances, and he is up to an 89 overall. He's got a good chance to be the first 90 on the team. Joe White, he got up 5 overall this year. 21 goals, 10 assists. Really good player. He's up to an 88 overall, and I just kind of want to show I have been getting his pace up, and it's up to an 88 sprint speed with a 92 acceleration for a 90 pace overall. So I think at this rate, we can move over to something that's a little bit more shooting focused here, like inside forward, as I now think we've trained his pace enough. That was a big problem for him, but after really kind of 2 years of just developing it a ton, now it's not a problem at all. I think he has winger level pace now at an overall rating of 90. But back to the stats here. Wagana goes up 4 overall. He scores 3 goals. We saw 2 of them. Hopefully next year we can see him score even more. We got 10 goals, 12 assists, 14 clean sheets, 4 yellow cards from Jason Clark. He went up 6 overall. That's the highest we've seen so far. He's up to an 82. We had an average match rating of 6.85. Jermaine Ratcliffe goes up only 3. He had 4 goals on the season. Gabriel Ramos goes up just one. 8 goals, 10 assists, reaches double digits there. Amon, no goals or assists, 14 clean sheets. Cam Stewart got to 80 pretty early in the year and then did not develop past it. Hopefully his potential updates to a point where it is now past 80. If not, we've got some other options now. 14 goals, only 3 assists from Robert Johansson. The assist game is not his strong suit, especially because I think 2 of those were on the first match of the season, if I'm not mistaken. So he had won the rest of the year. But an incredibly fun player to watch. Marcus Nelson, despite missing a pretty big portion of the year, ends up with 27 goals and 9 assists still, and goes up 5 overall. 7.5 average match rating. I can tell you that his goals was second in the EFL Championship League. Somebody had 27. He was in second place despite missing 2 months plus. So this is the first year he will not lead the league in goals scored, and it's all because of injury. And he was still number 2. Out on loan, looks like Ferre got a +5 overall. He got 38 total appearances. Didn't do particularly well in them. Hopefully he'll do better next year with us. Lewis, 30 appearances is pretty dang solid from him. 28 for Dennis Kane. He gets up to a 64. Jack Stewart ends with a total of +10 this year. Of course, spent some time out on loan, but once he came back to us, I liked what I saw from him. Osamu Harada, his development is complete at 72 overall. Jesse Miller, his development is complete. Silva, Thompson, a lot of these guys are done. Agustin Garcia is not done yet. I have not gotten that message. He scored 3 goals for us in 13 appearances while we had Marcus Nelson out. Fraser, 10 appearances. He's up to 69. Nice. Alex Cook out on loan, up to a 72. Ferrara ends up +3 only. So I don't know if sending him out on loan anymore is going to be worth it, because he would have got that if he was just on our team. So if we want Ferrara to be a CDM for us, probably just got to have him on the team. That's going to be an interesting decision between him and Gabriel Ramos. Next episode, Reese Hansen. He demanded to be promoted from our youth academy. So here he is, as did Durant, but he, I think last episode, demanded to be promoted. We didn't give him any appearances, so not sure how much he's going to like that. Russell Fraser. Okay, so it looks like in this case, sending him out on loan, even in the January window, did him pretty good. So the only reason I did it is because I wasn't expecting him to get the massive boost, because now that kind of feels like cheating, because we got a massive boost from Jack Stewart. We brought him back and then we sent him out. Yeah, was not in my plans, but he's up to a 70. And that's not something I'll be doing again, where I have one slot, but I can split it halfway through the season between 2 different players. Yeah, not going to be doing that again. And Patrick Higgins is our first 90. He goes up +11 overall. Not going to show the youth tournament at the end of the year like I sometimes do. I just don't know how many people here are ultimately really important to our future. I think Peter Miller has a chance. I've been having fun with him. Bowden has a chance as well, I guess, just because his potential is so high, and that's a spot at CDM. But I'm not 100% sure we have our man across Jason Clark yet. We also have signed Gordson this episode. I didn't show it, but I signed him. He looks pretty decent. I also signed Larry Gauthier. He's American. I don't know if he has a French pronunciation to his name, but so we have some okay players, but just decided not to showcase the youth tournament for this season. But +6 from Bruce Cox. He's probably ready for promotion. Cameron Jackson, +6, +7 for Cameron Adams. He's a 75. He's just got to be promoted when the season flips over. So this is the update on the Youth Academy. Still not super massive, just because we've had one guy. But, man, USA has been rock solid. Like, it's been better than most of the European countries I've gone to, which is kind of weird. I don't know if there's, like, some hidden boost if your manager or coach or whatever it's called is from a country, if you get a boost for scouting in that country. Because it almost feels like we're getting a boost for the USA with how frequent we're finding good players there compared to other regions. All right. End of season recap screen. First in the EFL Championship. We only reached round 4 in the Emirates FA Cup. We were better last year. Round 3 in the EFL Cup. And just group stage in whatever that competition is. The board is delighted with our performance after winning the league. And starting next episode, we will be in the Premier League. We've made it to the biggest league in England. One of the toughest there is in the entire world. I think most would call it the toughest. I don't know, most. You'll have to pardon my ignorance if that's not. As I know, I imagine it's not like consensus, but I feel like that's a fairly popular opinion. Again, limited knowledge. But we've got one more USA report here, and that's how we will finish off today's episode. Also, get our loan out for our keeper. Ferrara, I imagine he wants to negotiate a new contract. Yes, he does. We'll be doing all that next episode. We'll be changing our kits as well. I gotta remember, this is the first day. This is the only time that I'm allowed to change our stadium, and I will be doing it. We'll be getting one more upgrade here for the Prem. I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of like a 50. What's the maximum? 68. I don't know if we want it that much. One of these in the neighborhood of 50K. This one's only 42, but I think I like this one. Yeah, this will be the final stadium update. Warrington Park. There you go. And this will be enough to host all the fans we need for the Premier League and eventually the Champions League games. I can change kits whenever I want, so I'll reveal the updated kits next episode. I gotta take some time and find the best ones that I want. We've got so much money now. I'm probably gonna play FC27 at this point. I want to start with like $500,000 budget. If I do this kind of rebuild. I don't know if I'll do this exact kind of rebuild, but I do not want to play FC27. I don't know if I'll play it right on release just because it's so close to NBA 2K. But I might. Let's get this final USA report here, see if there's any studs in it. Doesn't look like it. So, I just praised USA for giving us so many players. I mean, James Morgan is a high overall player. Turned down a 68 overall cam that they sent me in the last report. That kind of felt bad, especially because on our senior team, there's a 64 overall that we're playing. But, yeah, this will be the Youth Academy. Taking suggestions for next time. Preferably, I think I'd like to go back to Europe, but I'm not set in stone on it. If somebody has a different idea, I'd be happy to go and do that. But that's going to wrap up the episode today. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all are excited to get some Premier League action started in the next episode, and I'll see you then. Go Warrington.